And we're back, guys. Welcome to Tennis in a Minute. I'm your host, Good Energy. Sakkari, the Greek goddess, taking on Carolyn Garcia. Bonjour, comment allez-vous? Now, listen, guys, these two ladies, look, they have a history together, and the reality here is this is a favorable matchup for Sakkari, in my opinion. And why? I just think that magic that Carolyn Garcia was playing with much of last year that saw her go from ranked 75th in the world to all the way down to number 5. I just think that magic she was playing with, I think it's kind of wore off a little bit. I think it's gone a little bit. But why? Is this a favorable matchup for Sakkari? The reason is simple. Carolyn Garcia, I think out of all the top 10 players, I think she's probably one of the worst baseliners. Now, Carolyn Garcia feels comfortable 1, 2, 3 feet inside the baseline because she can rush you up, she can speed you up, and she can hit that forehand down the line. She hits that ball so strong, chances are you're not going to return it. But if you can back her up behind the baseline, that's where she struggles. She's good in that area, a few feet within the baseline. But Sakkari's doing a great job this first set, just using depth and just forcing those balls deep in the corners. And Garcia's having a tough time returning that because, again, I think she's one of the worst baseliners out of all the top 10. I mean, who's the top 10? We have Iga number 1, Sabalenka's number 2, Anjabur number 3, Pegula number 4. Garcia's right at the 5th spot. Coco's number 6, Sakkari 7th, Kasakina's 8, Belinda Bencic 9, Rybakina's 10. Out of all those players, I think Garcia is probably the worst baseliner. And look, in that area, she's comfortable, but Sakkari's not letting her get to her spots. And I think game planning for any of the top 10 players, it's a little easier game planning against Carolyn Garcia because we know what she wants to do. She wants to come forward. And to all the top 10 players that are experienced, hitting those deep balls, it's for the most part, it's routine. So I think out of all the top 10 players, developing a strategy for Carolyn Garcia is probably the easiest, to be honest with you, because I don't want to say she's one-dimensional. She has a great first serve, one of the best serves on tour, one of the strongest serves on tour. But once the ball's in play, you can force her deep in the corners, and she's just not a great shot maker behind the baseline. She's explosive coming towards the net like you see here, but Sakkari's not letting her get to that spot. And Sakkari's dominating this first set, guys. And the reality here is last time they played at the WTA finals, yes, Sakkari, she blew a lead. And the reality, I mean, it was a small lead for the most part, that Carolyn Garcia got the victory. And stay tuned for that throwback video winner that I gave you to take Garcia over Sakkari. But again, like I said, I just think that magic Garcia was playing with kind of wore off a little bit, but we're not going to count Garcia out. She's a great player. She's a champion. She is the WTA reigning champion. But if we take a look here, look, guys, 11 winners from Garcia, 15 unforced errors, only 2 unforced errors from Sakkari. That's a difference maker. She's winning 71% of all of her points on serve, while Garcia, she's exchanging, winners and errors, and that's just not going to get it done. 4 breakpoint opportunities from Sakkari, and she's just dominating this first set. We're headed to the second set. We're going to see if Garcia can get it together, but if she doesn't, we're going to have a matchup that features Sakkari and Pegula in the finals, and of course, Iga's going to be facing Kudermetova. We're going to see what's going to happen here in the second set. I have my popcorn. This is going to get really interesting.